This video is an individual by the name of Brian Two, who is a targeted individual who experiences a lot of the harassment and psychological operations that um, most, if not all, TIs experience. Um, he gives a really good depiction of what these people engage in and how they're doing it, and it's an atrocity. Um, it is a crime against humanity. It is a violation of one's civil rights and human rights, and it's just good to kind of put this information out there so that people um, can be educated as to what's going on. These people are torturing and harassing innocent citizens. Uh, Wherever the target goes, they are watched and monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Neighborhoods get alerted wherever the target resides. They will reach out to the neighbors and spread slander and lies and half truths, um, to put the target to some sort of shame. Um, the neighbors will then get involved in the harassment. They will then listen to the handlers who essentially give the instructions as what to do around the target, how to interact with the target. And some of these individuals may not even know exactly what they're engaging in or what they're getting themselves involved in. I completely understand what Nicolas Cruz went through in Broward County in Florida. He just got his sentencing for the shootings that he committed at that school. And I don't condone that his actions, but I completely understand what he went through and what he still continues to go through. There are some very sick individuals in our society. They are the neighbors. There are people that are hidden in neighborhoods. There are people that are just hidden within our society that are engaging in these activities to bring about chaos and hate and confusion. And this weapon is a very powerful weapon that they're using. And all we can do is try to educate as many people as we can to open their eyes to what's really going on in this world. um, the government, the powers that be, so to speak, they inundate us with working these 9 to 5 jobs and occupying our minds with nonsense, television, sporting events, just being plugged into this whole matrix. And it really gets our minds off of what's really going on in this world. The ones that ask the right questions to try to figure out what's going on, those are the ones that get persecuted, get targeted, get thrown in jail. Uh, they are made out to be crazy in the neighborhoods that they go. And these people are not crazy people. One of the best quotes that I love is from a comedian named Dave Chappelle. Um, he stated, to call someone crazy is dismissive. I don't understand this person, so they're crazy. He went on to say that these people are not crazy, they're strong people. Maybe it's the environment that's a little sick. So you have some very evil, demonic individuals, sadistic individuals who will engage in these activities via the instructions of the powers that be, right? Because they've labeled you as being crazy when you're far from crazy, when you're actually the most sanest individual amongst them all. An individual who thinks, an individual who doesn't have the mindset of most people in this world. They will label you crazy and do whatever it is they can do, basically destroy your life in every aspect, in every way that they possibly can. So I'm just going to share this video. I've subscribed to Brian Two. He talks a lot about the scientific aspect of the targeting. I know a lot of people talk about the spiritual aspect, how it's rooted in the spiritual realm, which I believe is true. But then there's also the physical aspects of it as well that needs to be discussed so as to give people a better understanding as to what's going on. So I'm just going to share this video. I know exactly what Nicolas Cruz went through. I know exactly what a lot of these other mass shooters went through. And not all individuals are as strong-minded or as strong-willed to endure this. I've been going through this crap since I was a kid, really, but for some reason in 2014 they made it more overt. And the only thing that I can say is to dig deep within yourself, dig deep within your soul, to do the best that you can to try to endure until it's over. That's the only thing, a bit of advice that I can give. You have to be strong-willed, you have to be strong-minded to really get through this this evil program. But without further ado, let me go ahead and play the video.
UCLA, and it's one of the major hubs for my...
If you remember, some of you may know about the brain mapping initiative that Obama spoke of during his presidency. So this is a very real thing, to where these people now have the ability to hack into people's minds and to actually send out or broadcast messages to the minds of individuals, for the sole purpose of creating chaos and destruction in society. So this thing is very real. I'll just continue playing the video.
Mind control training, research, and development. When we say mind control, we mean artificial intelligence, training, research, and development, and artificial superintelligence, meaning brain-to-computer interfaces, brain-to-brain interfaces, brain-to-cloud interfaces, interfacing with augmented reality and virtual reality. And this is right next to where my doctors are. My doctor's right around the corner. But this is just an example. This is a major hub for all the atrocities being committed. University of California and UCLA, UCSD, UC Berkeley, University of California, San Francisco, these are all major hubs for the atrocities being committed by the American government. So why am I making this video? To tell you that the cognitive researchers responsible for the atrocities that are being committed in the name of science, in the name of this training, research, and development, the torture and murder of innocent men, women, and children, even children, okay? They're hiding in plain sight. They're hiding in plain sight. They're not in some underground base somewhere. They're the psychiatrists, the psychologists, the neuroscientists, the behavioral scientists, etc., etc. And the major universities of America are one of the primary hubs, centers for this horrifying, this unbelievable, the greatest civil rights travesty in history. And it's happening in plain sight. It's Brian too.
Yeah. Hi Brian, it's good to see you again. Hey, I want to just follow up on our last conversation. I saw that you went to the ER again, and you had like an anxiety episode.
No, I'm fine, thanks.
he's depicting some of the shenanigans that these cognitive researchers or their flying monkeys or their hired CIs that they use to carry out their shenanigans and property damage and sabotage and whatnot. In this part of the video, he's just depicting something that obviously this is not his underwear, but this is just an example of some of the things that these people will do, to try to elicit a response from the target so that they can then measure or attain some sort of data from the brain or whatnot. So that's all this is. He didn't really talk about it, but just from my personal experiences in dealing with this, I know exactly what he's showing here. That's happened to me to where I've had, like I'll wash clothes or something like that, and somebody else's laundry or article of clothing will be in my clothes, and it's like, okay, where did this come from? This wasn't part of my load or whatever, but that's just an example. Again, it's psychological operations. It's geared towards eliciting some sort of response from the target, from the subject, so they can then try to use that information, for their science, basically.
CIA claims torture works. No touch torture is a whole new topic, a whole new category. Most people don't believe it's happening. You can be tortured in your own home. No one will believe you. But this is torture, and I want there to be no doubt about it. This is torture, destruction of life, and a destruction to misery for all these people, the innocent Americans. And it's a war crime. It's a crime against humanity for sure. They're trying to grasp all sorts of data from how effective can we make them kill each other themselves? How do you make a rational player go down?
That's exactly what they did to Nicolas Cruz, Gavin Eugene Long, and all the other mass shooters that have committed these shootings. That's exactly what they do to them. Exactly what this man is saying.
To walk them to their death. The first logical thing they do is go to the police. Well, the police can't help you. They're going to give you a lockup and 72 hours and a psych ward.
One of the men behind the technology admits he created.
I have gone to law enforcement in reference to this. I think I've only gone to law enforcement one time, and I've also spoken to the FBI. If you're an avid viewer of my channel, if you just kind of go back in time a little bit, I did a video to where the FBI actually came and picked me up and basically talked to me about Gavin Eugene Long, because I had been having phone conversations with this guy. It was like only twice that I talked to him on the phone. And then shortly after that, it was said that he basically, killed some police officers in a shootout in Louisiana. So they wanted to talk to me. I spoke to them, and only reason why I wanted to talk to them is because I felt like it was an opportunity for me to explain to them what I also had been experiencing, and to let them know that this Gavin Eugene Long individual was not crazy. Like, everything that he talked about in his videos was very true. So, that's why I talked to them about what was going on with that situation, and there's really no help with going to law enforcement. If anything, they're in on it. If anything, they get briefed. If you were to call to set up a meeting to talk to someone in law enforcement or have them come out to your house, they are definitely briefed by the powers that be, by a higher authority, and they are instructed as to how to interact with the target, what to say. So as it was said in this video, oftentimes when you go to law enforcement, what they'll do is they will basically, play the crazy card. They will say, "Oh, well, have you?" And this was with my experience when I went to law enforcement in Texas. When I first started experiencing this, it was two cops that I talked to, And one of the cops was like, they had that whole good cop, bad cop paradigm thing going on, dynamic or whatever. So the quote unquote bad cop was like, well, have you tried to seek help? I was like, well, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to talk to you guys about it to see if you can drop a report and investigate. And his response to me was, no, have you tried to seek professional help? Have you tried to see a psychiatrist? That type of thing. So immediately, any person with a brain, any normal person would look at that as like a red flag, because law enforcement, they're reactionary in nature, right? When you call them, obviously there's an issue with something that needs to be addressed, and their job is to investigate. So the fact that he totally bypassed the investigation part of it and went on to say, you know, have you tried seeking professional help? That was an immediate red flag. Now, mind you, before I even went to law enforcement initially to try to explain what was going on, I had watched videos of other targeted people saying that they would go to the police and the police would gaslight them and the police would actually offer no help. And I'm the type of person, like, I'll hear a person's story and what their experiences are, but I like to see for myself as well. So with that in mind, when I went to law enforcement, I didn't really expect to get any help, because I already knew based off of what I had watched that there was a possibility that I would get no help. And it turned out to be true. So you're dealing with people that are in this society that are that are hiding and that have these certain powers to where they can just override whenever you try to get help from someone. They contact them. They might show them a badge, whether they truly are FBI, CIA, or whatever authority it is. It's enough authority to sway any type of help that you may try to get from these agencies that are supposed to be there to protect and serve. Right? So, anyways, I'll continue playing the video.
The monster. Dr. Robert Duncan put together the technology that allows the government to transmit thoughts and voices into the heads of Americans.
I've worked on projects for the CIA, Justice Department, and Department of Defense.
So you know for a fact that these weapons that you worked on, they're being used domestically today?
Absolutely.
Are there citizens of this country that are being abused with this technology?
Worse than abuse, that's a light word. They're being tortured. They easily could be broadcasting across the country messages to people and causing them extreme pain.
We've run into a few people that claim they got voices in their head. When they talk to us, they seem totally normal. Are these people crazy, or is the government doing this to them?
The government's doing this to them. They're called voice of God weapons.
So the targeted individuals aren't crazy after all. These are people within our government at a certain level.
I just want to be clear in saying that I don't get V2K, I don't get voice to skull, I don't hear voices in my head, but they have attempted, I think, to try the V2K voice to skull thing with me. I do get a lot of ringing in my ears and things of that nature, and people that I've talked to that have experienced this V2K voice to skull phenomenon, they would say prior to actually getting full on V2K that they would actually hear ringing in their ears, like severe ringing. I think it's called tinnitus, if I'm not mistaken, or pronouncing it right. They get severe tinnitus, and that was pretty much the what was going on right before they got full on V2K. They've tried that with me. Like, I've gotten tinnitus really bad at certain times or what have you. Lately, I haven't really gotten it as much, but that was kind of a scary thing to experience, because most of the TIs that I've talked to that experienced the V2K, that's exactly what was happening before they started hearing the voices. Okay, so I just wanted to put that out there. I don't hear voices in my head. I'm not crazy. Okay, and people that hear voices in their head, I don't think they're crazy either. Let me be clear in saying that. There is definitely something going on in this government, in this society, to where they have these weaponries that they're using against certain individuals, and it is unlawful, and it is a horrendous thing to experience. So I just wanted to be clear in saying that I don't hear voices. What these people do with me is they operate more along the lines of subliminal messaging. They'll leave certain items in my path to try to get my attention. So, for example, let me give you an example. When my targeting first started, I remember I used to get advertisements for life insurance that would show up right in front of my doorstep. Now, mind you, it wasn't in the mailbox or anything like that. It was always like right at my doorstep, okay? Then it went from that to like me going, let's say I went to the grocery store to go shop, get out my car. It's clear, there's nothing on the ground, you know, because when you experience stuff like that, you become a little bit more observant, right? Because it's like, okay, this is happening so much, I need to really pay attention and try to see what's going on. So, anyways, I went to the grocery store, did my shopping, came out, everything looked clear. You know, I'm on the driver's side. I'm putting groceries in the back of my vehicle. I put groceries in the back of my trunk. I also needed to go around the other side of my vehicle to put groceries on in the back seat, passenger side area, right? So as soon as I walk around, I look on the ground. What do I see? There's an advertisement for life insurance. Okay, so just when you're constantly seeing things like that in these conspicuous areas or what have you, it makes you wonder, like, okay, is someone trying to send you a message? You know, is someone trying to tell you something? Am I about to die? So that within itself, that's part of the psychological operations that they perpetuate onto the target or the subject, okay? They will leave certain things like that to try to elicit some sort of fear or some sort of response that they can draw data from, okay? So this is what I've experienced. That's just one example of many things that they have done to me, okay? So if the V2K doesn't work, they go hardcore with the subliminals to try to send a message to the target. So I just wanted to, you know, give that information as well.
Making these decisions, and they're not necessarily our president or our elected officials.
That's exactly right. They can't be removed, and they're difficult to find. They hide in the dark crevices of our government. These technologies that are being torturing people around the world, these type of weapons can make you kill yourself or others. They hide it in their news broadcasts. Always just crazy, you know.
Nicolas Cruz, Gavin Eugene Long. Again, this is exactly what was happening to those individuals. But when you watch the news, the only narrative that they paint is that, oh, this guy was crazy. You know, oh, he had a childhood of this and that. Mother was a prostitute or selling drugs or whatever. But it's more to it than that. Okay, I grew up in certain environments to where, you know, people were selling drugs and there was gang activity, but I didn't turn out to be a killer or anything like that. So it has nothing. There's more to it than what the news media is trying to put out there. The news media. That's why you can't trust what you see on television. You can't trust anything that you see on TV or you hear on the radios, because about 95% of it is bullshit. 95% of it is just lies. They don't put all the journalists that were about speaking truth and putting legitimate information out there. They've gotten rid of those people. The media is now controlled by the powers that be that are responsible for these atrocities that are happening with these technologies that are being used against people on a wide mass scale. And it just makes me wonder, like, where does common man get this technology from? Okay, how do we go from the caveman days to now having technology to where you can send subliminals to a person's mind? Where does that stuff come from? Okay, I'm just throwing that out there.
They don't go any deeper. The colonel said, you can pipe voices in someone's head, I will find a way to talk them to their death. You know, I know a couple high-level FBI, former FBI that retired after in their 25 years of service or whatever, and they talk about how corrupt their agencies were. Those at the very top are very conniving, and as long as they can get away with it, they will. If the highest level of sort of criminal justice has failed this country. There is no hope.
All right, so there you have it. The technology is real. What's happening is real. When you hear people talking about this stuff, please don't think that they're crazy, because this stuff is really truly happening. The best thing that you can do is to try to assist in any way that you possibly can. Um, the this technology, the way that they use it, it's geared towards systematically depriving you financially. It's geared towards destroying relationships. It's geared towards making you isolated, so they can then come in and really do the damage that they intend to do to you. Okay, so I just want to put that out there. I'm currently going through some bullshit with the courts out here in Florida for a crime that I didn't even commit. Okay, so this is what's going on, and I'm just doing my best to try to endure and to survive it as best as I can. I know that there are people around me that are involved in this shit. These people that I talk to on the phone sometimes, these people that are putting messages on my YouTube channel, people that reach out to me to email occasionally. Like, they have to put some of their agents in your life so that they can get the data that they need for whatever purpose they need it for. So it's a very hard thing to go through, but again, you have to be extremely strong-minded and strong-willed to endure this. I've gone through this stuff so many years, and I have not been in any mental facility. Okay, they have locked me up. They have made up things to try to get me, to lock me up, to bring about these fake cases, to try to cover up their bullshit. But rest assured, I'm going to speak on what's been going on in the courts, so that there's record of what was happening to me and what's been happening to other people. Okay, these people are they're treasonous. Okay, these people are committing treason against fellow American citizens, and it's not just happening in America. This shit's going on all over the world. So many people that have been thrown in psych wards that are not crazy. Now, granted, you might have some people that are actually, have some issues, but there are a lot of people that have been thrown in mental facilities that were trying to expose what was going on. And if they have an opportunity to get you in these facilities, you are at their mercy. They can inject you with what they want to inject you with. Even if you don't consent to it, it doesn't matter. They will still inject you. They will still, force you to take medications. I mean, stuff that makes your brain feel detached from your body, that type thing. So I'm just putting this out there. I know I haven't made, videos about the harassment and stuff that's been going on, because I've had so much going on, and I try my best to focus on just working and trying to live a normal life, trying to have normal relationships with people. But it's extremely difficult when some of these people that are around you are reached out to in order to enact some sort of psychological operation against you. Like, how am I supposed to trust people like that? To them it's funny, right? Like, oh, he's sensitive, he's an emotionally disturbed individual, or we're just fucking with him. You don't play with people's lives like that. How would you like it if the tables were turned and it was done to you? I can guarantee you the people that are engaging in these shenanigans against us and these gaslighting events and psychological operations, if the tables were turned, I guarantee these people would not last 5 months. I guarantee you they'd kill themselves, or they'd end up on a mass shooting, or, get locked up or whatever. You have to be a strong-willed, strong-minded person to be able to endure this. Okay, there's no weak people going through this and surviving it. Okay, so that's all I got. Again, I just wanted to share this video with you guys and just kind of shed light on the situation. And I wish all the people that are going through this, that are truly going through this, not these fake targeted individuals that make videos and are out there mocking people and not really going through anything. the ones that are truly going through this, my heart is with you. I pray to that which is good. I pray to that which is divine. I pray to that which is just supreme and the highest of the high, that that spirit is with you and that it encompasses you and that it provides you with protection and strength to endure until the end. I know what you're going through. You're not alone. Just continue to stay strong. That's the only advice I can give you. I can't say, hey, you can go to this agency and get help. I can't say, oh, we'll fill out this paperwork, or look at this law or this statute, all right? This is supposed to protect us. Let's look into that and let's see who we can go to. No, I've tried all that shit. Okay, it's gonna take your will to get through this. That's the only bit of advice that I can give you. All right, you guys take care. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and yeah, take care.